Greetings and salutations, my friends. I am DJ Pat626. I host Subculture Shock Sunday nights on Twitch, where I play a lot of new goth industrial music, and I have been absolutely gaga over Grab Your Face for the past couple of years now, and I'm really excited now to be able to interview them in this virtual studio. So, hey, how's it going?
How's it going, man? How you doing? Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So this is exciting because I think I first discovered you through Matt Finale, through Caustic, and then you were on a Covenant album, and so eventually when C came out, I was like, all right, let me see what this is all about, and I was just blown away. So this has been super exciting to have you on the show. So thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm really humbled to be on your show. And yeah, C was a little while ago already. So did you catch up with the rest?
Oh, I've caught up with the rest. I've got Fucking Bastards is playing in the background right now.
Yeah, bitch.
So,
nice.
Yeah, no, I've been pretty much every release you've put out since then, I have featured on my show because whether it's your stuff or with Matt Finale or with Morris Black, like it's just it's nonstop awesome all across the board.
For now. We'll see what I come up with next.
So I want to start the interview like I start all of them with what I call the supervillain origin story. So,
oh boy.
So how'd you get involved in listening to this type of music to begin with and then eventually making it?
Okay, so basically, the story starts with, okay, let me open my fucking monster for a second. There you go. The story starts, well, I was always passionate with music, ever since I was a child. And quickly I got into like, kind of like a bit of punk, then a bit of hard rock and a lot of metal. So, like around my teenage years, I got into metal pretty heavily. And I got into like heavy metal and hard rock, and then quickly I got into like darker stuff, as in like black metal, doom metal, and things that had that really kind of how it is, like, you know, blackened appeal, kind of like, you know, dark arts and shit like that. Like it spoke to me a little bit more than, I don't know, like death metal or thrash metal would because it didn't have that, you know, blackened sort of almost esoteric appeal. And yeah, when I was about 21, some people showed me basically things like Sisters of Mercy and Depeche Mode. And I was like, holy fucking shit. This is actually what I've been looking for. And, you know, I was like...
And the world was never the same.
Yeah, exactly. Like, basically, I was like, oh, okay, I was trying to find something like blackened and kind of gothy, basically, in metal through black metal and things like that, which I still love. I mean, black metal is still one of my favorite genres. But basically, what I found effortlessly in goth, I was trying so hard to find in anything else. So yeah, I kind of like made the switch pretty fucking easily, and I got into goth stuff. Like I got into 80s darkwave initially. A lot of Sisters of Mercy. I mean, I know it's overrated and all that, but
no, you were a person after my own heart on that one.
Yeah. It's like of the 80s, of the dark 80s, it's probably my favorite. That, and I'm sorry to say, but fucking Danzig, this absolute douche, it has made really songs that I really like, but oh my god, what a douche. And then I got into, classic other things like The Cure, The Smiths, Susie, and all that. And then I got into the whole more, like future pop aspect of the goth scene. I got massively into Covenant. No like,
shame in that.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I discovered it and I was like,
no,
oh,
you just mentioned like some of my first loves in the scene, like Sisters of Mercy and Covenant. Yeah.
And Covenant blew my fucking mind because it had so much of everything I've been looking for. It had that darkness and a bit of that sleaziness sometimes, but in such a classy way. Almost aerial. I mean, some songs, you know, like like one of my favorite albums is actually the albums I discovered them with, which is not everyone's favorite. And I forgot how it's called. The one that's got 20 hertz on it and all that with the hands. I'm so bad with names because my brain is a bit damaged. But the ones from like 2006 or something. But anyway, I love really really light and classy songs from Covenant. I mean,
Sky
I just love
Shaper.
everything.
That was the one.
Yeah, Sky Shaper. Oh my god. Yeah, you got that right. Sky Shaper. I fucking love that album so much. It's been a lifesaver album, and yeah, something really really important for me. I also discovered Nine Inch Nails at the time, and that was also a massive shaping thing for me because I mean it's been very defining of my sound to discover Nine Inch Nails. Like I usually say that the three things that had shaped my sound has been Nine Inch Nails, unfortunately Marilyn Manson, which is now kind of in sort of troubled waters, and it's kind of hard to mention him, but like some songs of him had saved my life, and a guy called Lil Peep that some guys some people in the goth scene know. It's like a sad, like emo rap stuff, and those three influences, the sort of like gothy metal, industrial, sexy, and sad rap has been really really massive for my sound. Yeah, I forgot the question.
No, that's good.
There you
go. You gave me a great start. So that was how you got into.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
and then I started going into goth clubs, and then I was like, "Holy shit, those people are sexy! It's nice here." So I kept going.
Yeah, that's the thing. You go to a goth club and you just look around and you're like, "Man, all of my friends are hot."
Yeah, it's fucking nice, isn't it? Like everyone like surrounded by sexy people. I was like, I'm never leaving. But yeah, no, it was nice, and I kept discovering music that really spoke to me. Like it just kept going on, you know. Gary Newman, fucking I got massively into Depeche Mode. I got like every fucking single song, and like that was for like the early, more like old school like trad goth stuff. But I'm massively into the new wave of goth music, much more. Like from Chelsea Wolf to Lingua Ignota, Prayers, Trust.
So you're naming some bands that I actually haven't heard yet, so I'm gonna find them.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna find
Kanga, right?
Oh, I know Kanga. Yeah, Kanga's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
shit
I heard
like that, man.
Players and Trust. I'm not familiar with those, so I'm going to check them out.
Prayers.
Okay.
It's like cholo goth stuff. They're a bit problematic.
Immediately after this interview, but
yeah, they are a bit problematic. They are. The singer is with Kat Von D. Kat Von D is anti-vax and a bit weird with like. Conspiracy theorists and shit like that. The singer of Prayers has been kind of like I don't know, showing support to Marilyn Manson, which I still don't know. Like the thing is, I don't know about Marilyn Manson. Like it looks not good, but like maybe the Prayers guy was like, oh, like he's my mate and I don't think he's done that, you know. Like Dita Von Teese said, oh, I've been with him 20 years or 10 years or whatever, and he was never like that. So you know, it's kind of like,
but that's the thing about that.
You don't want to touch that, basically. You don't want to. You just want to don't touch that.
Yeah.
And the guy of Prayers went there and he touched that.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's a bit problematic, and I don't know.
Yeah, well, my opinion.
I liked his music, but I'd rather him not talk about things that are not cleared up like that. It's not his place. Like it's no one's place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
basically.
Kind of how I feel about that is like, you know, I'm with you. I'm in a similar boat that some of Manson's music like really saved my life, but
it's a bit shitty.
at this point, promoting him further is basically you can't promote him any further. And so there comes a point, even if he was my best friend, I have to go, no, but I
Yeah.
totally
The thing
understand.
is, if you
We have to
discover
let
your
it go.
best friend's a rapist, you can't be his friend anymore. Like, I
Yeah,
couldn't be a friend with a
you
fucking
either
rapist. Like,
you either like do your best to get them into rehabilitation, and if they don't do that, if they don't accept the consequences for their actions, then you let them go.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, kind of like that.
yeah, and
So,
you mentioned that with Danzig about just being an
Danzig's
absolute
just a douche. I feel no, he's not like hurt anyone. I hope. I don't know.
well,
Maybe he has.
yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
the thing is with the people of that generation is that they probably felt like everything was free and allowed for them, so they probably went overboard in
yeah,
many ways that we still don't know yet. Like this generation of musicians were kind of like doing anything they wanted and having sex with anyone they wanted,
yeah.
groupies included, young groupies included. So it's probably a generation that if we start touching, like if we start actually digging into it, we'll discover that they were all fucking disgusting. So
And so maybe they all
yay.
yay. Well, and that's the thing is that we can the key for this generation then is to be better, to like take the
Go for
inspiration
it,
from the
exactly.
music.
And
Take
that's why so
yeah
far that's what I'm seeing, and it's making me quite happy so
yeah
far. And like the scene I belong to, like the what I like to call the new goth scene,
mm-hmm.
it's been pretty healthy. I feel like there's not so many. Well, there's been the Mr. Kitty thing that.
yeah
Well, I don't want to talk about that at all, by the
no,
way. But
but that's okay.
uh,
But that we
it's like I'd say 95%. It's like pretty cool people who are really open-minded, who want to spread good things. Like
and we tend to be a
it's
lot
good.
quicker to excise the bad stuff. So
Yeah.
we're working really hard to like still make great music, but also have great
Yeah.
people, and that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
My experience has been to meeting only like fantastic people so far in my journey through music. So I'm lucky because I'm in a niche as well. It's kind of like
Yeah.
protective in a way because you don't get to meet like massive labels and people who tend to be douchebag because they're only after money or things like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm in a a sort of a cocoon where I'm only surrounded by people who are pretty neat and nice to me. So it's nice.
The advantage of being non-mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm completely embracing that, and it's been only good so far.
So that brings up, so you got into all of these awesome artists. What made you want to start making music and making this kind of music?
The thing is, I came really late to music making because I was really afraid to make music, and I thought that like I have a massive imposter syndrome and inferiority complex and shit like that, and I always felt like there was no point in me making any music because I would never be as good as you name it, Nine Inch Nails or Depeche Mode. So I just kept I just kept telling myself, well, there's absolutely no point in you making music. I mean, you're never gonna be like the big ones, and so I was never making music, and then when I lived in Ireland for like a few years during my 20s. I was in Ireland, and I started meeting people who were making noise music, and there were people who just didn't give a shit, basically. So they just plugged their computers, they plugged whatever the fuck they had bought or salvaged or bought into like charity shops or whatever, from fucking broken instrument to tape players, electric violins, fucking drum machines, anything would go. Plug all that for a computer and off we go. And we would just make fucking unbearable noise together. And it was really, really liberating. and basically I got to meet people who were telling me, just don't worry, just make noise and do not think about what people think about you. Just press the button. Don't think further than pressing the button. Just simplify the steps. And so I started. At first, during the sessions, I was not making a single noise. I was like looking at them and like I had everything plugged, but I was paralyzed. I could not press anything. And after a while, I started going like, okay, maybe if I press this, it will be nice. And and then I started pressing more, and I was like, okay, it doesn't make sense anyway, so I can just press things. And I started making things, and I was like, okay, this is nice, and quite liberating and enjoyable actually. And then one thing fell into the other, and one of my friends, a dear friend of mine, installed a music software on my computer, and then I started like doing some shit with it and all that. I started learning a bit how to use the software and all. And at some point, I decided I wanted to make a song, and I had bought that day with another friend of mine, some ethnic instruments in a shop in Dublin, who was selling like shit like sitars and shit like fucking amazing things. But I just bought a tiny fucking bell and a, how do you call that, a thunder drum? Do you know what a thunder drum is? It's fucking great. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna record that and I'm gonna make a song. So I recorded 5 minutes of me ringing the bell. I put that in. 5 minutes of me fucking doing things with the thunder drum. Put that in. And I was like, okay, it's great. It's the bell and the thunder drum. Fantastic. I'm going to say some shit on it. And I started writing some stuff. And I set it on the sound that I had. And I recorded all that. And by the end of the day, I found myself with Philophobia, my first song. And I was like, oh, I wrote a song. Hell yeah. and
top of the world.
I know, it felt amazing. February 2017. And yeah, I was 27 when I wrote my first song. And my first song was on my first EP, Philophobia, that was released on October the same year in 2017. So yeah, that's how it started. But it really started really, really low. I didn't fucking know how to make music. I just recorded a fucking bell and said some bullshit on it.
That is literally how long I've been back from retirement. I came out of retirement in DJing in 2017.
Well, there you go. You see? We're linked.
Yeah, no. But sounds like 2017 was just the good year.
Yeah, right? I mean, yeah, yes and no. But yeah, it was a useful year. Yes. Let's say.
Yes, that.
But yeah, it allowed me to realize I could do it even if it was not 9 Inch Nails, and never gonna be 9 Inch Nails. I could still do things, and people could still enjoy it. So that's enough.
I absolutely believe that at some point in time, Trent Reznor was like, I'm never gonna be this person.
Yeah, especially when he was a fucking dork in his fucking synthpop band before
exactly.
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah. And I think that what you said about just don't think beyond pushing the button, just push the button is some of the best advice that you can give to people wanting to make music.
Yeah, the thing is, especially for like neurodivergent people, where we have like we find ourselves overwhelmed. I mean, of course, it depends on what you have and all that. But my thing is that I get really, really overwhelmed by the amount of things, and I just get paralyzed and don't do the thing at all. Mm-hmm. And it actually helps me to deconstruct and hide the big mountain, and just kind of trick my brain, going like, okay, just see the first step, and that way I can actually get started. And yeah, that was a massive trick on myself, and it helped. It worked.
That's incredible. So I kind of want to talk about then. You talked about getting started in Ireland, and from what I understand, the Species Festival was one of the first really big Grab Your Face shows.
Not the first very big. The first Grab Your Face show.
The very first one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was like basically. So in 2017, I had written Philophobia, and then I wrote Gunface. That was the second song I wrote ever. That's also on the EP Philophobia, And my mate, the same guy who told me just press the fucking button, he was like, okay, now you're a musician, go make shows. And I was like, are you fucking kidding, man? I'm a fucking nerd in my room, recording a fucking bell. And he was like, no, you got songs now. You gotta do gigs. And I was like, okay, great then. And he was like, well, there's that festival, this Irish festival. It's really tiny, and it's just basically friends and all that. And they just offer the chance to whoever wants to play. And I was like, okay, but like that was like the festival was gonna be in sort of May or June, I think, June, and we were in April, and I sent an email, knowing that the fucking lineup was already done, and I sent an email. I was like, "Hello, Grab Your Face. Our mutual friend told me to contact you because I have like songs. I just started a band. Can I play like for 20 minutes maybe?" And they didn't reply for like, I don't know, like a month, I think. And I was like, okay, well, that's not happening. And then they replied, yeah, let's do it. It was like a month before the show, and I had never fucking played live, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking die. And so I rehearsed, and at that time I had a friend. Well, the friend I started. Well, basically, there was a very dear friend of mine at the beginning of the story, Grab Your Face. She was not making music, but she kind of helped me at the beginning to kind of think it through,
right.
And like realize she helped me find a name, and then I wanted her to be part of the first show. She did not make any music, but I wanted her to do like a physical performance. So I made her sit in sand and rub herself with sand during my show. It was very strange, but people remember it still because of that. So hey, and I had a mate who played guitar as well. And first and last show I ever had instruments in. Not because of him. Yeah, I just didn't like it. I'm not a hardware kind of person. I'm not an analog. I'm a digital. I'm a fucking barbarian. I like everything software. I like everything through one computer, and it satisfies me that way. I like to keep it simple. Again, my brain gets overwhelmed otherwise.
The fewer buttons, the better.
Yeah, I like to keep things simple. That way I can actually handle it. And so I did my show there, and it was my first gig, and I was shaking the whole fucking time. I mean, I still shake during shows, but it stops at some point. At that time it didn't. And I fucking cried at the end and all. Like, it was really fucking intense, but I loved it. I loved every second of it, and I think people did as well, because I mean, it was intense for everyone, I think, and people could feel the roughness of it for me. Like, damn, I was fucking reading my lyrics off the screen still.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing.
But it was honest.
Oh yeah, it was honest.
And I think that's the intensity of your music, is that there's a bluntness to it.
Yeah.
There's no like there's no like makeup over top of it.
It's just, it is what it is, and it gets better and better over time. And I feel like I've gotten better with melodies and shit like that. But what's great for Species people is that they've actually seen me grow. Like, I've played 3 times there. I've played in 2017, 2018, and this year.
That's what I was getting to. What was it like to go back to Species, the place that started it all?
It was just incredible, man. It was. I'm sorry, man. Is it okay if I call you man, or?
I would prefer not, but thank you for asking.
Okay. Yeah. No, sorry. I just didn't know. Okay, no worries. So it was so cool. Jesus. It was like, I mean, some really shit things happened to me in the past few years, and I thought I would not actually get out of it, and I did. So it's actually pretty fucking magical to feel alive and to feel free. in a place where I started. And to top things up, I was with really good friends of mine that I hadn't seen in a while because of COVID and all that. And I got to meet Biomechanimal from London. I got to meet Brian Gothsicles, and to see all my friends from Ireland again. And they saw a show of Grab Your Face that they had not seen ever, because I have grown so much since last time I was playing there. And I mean, my show as well as my music matured quite a lot during the whole COVID era and all that. Like I went from last time they saw me, I was releasing fucking Keep Me Closer, and now I have C. I have a Summer on Saturn under my belt. I have a fucking Bastard, Rob the Bank. I mean, it's just a complete different show. It's more, I feel it's more musical. And I mean, I really like the music I make now, and I'm just really proud to show it to people, and to show it to, when you show like your new songs to people you really care about, you're like all excited, Every time I make a new song, I show it to my mom, and I'm like, oh, Mom, I made a new song, come, I'll show you. And she's like, okay. And it's all very exciting, and it's kind of the same because they're like family. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna play all my new songs, and they're gonna be
you have a support network.
Yeah, I've been really lucky to be surrounded by really cool people throughout my career. I mean, online, offline. People are nice to me. It's nice.
So you've grown as a musician, and that's a great segue into the next question I have. So I told you that the first solo stuff that I caught of yours was C, which is a very personal, very emotional album. And it's interesting then that from there you've gone to Rob the Bank and Fucking Bastards, which is you kind of tackling the world, tackling issues like capitalism. And
I'm really angry at capitalism at the moment.
Good.
You can tell.
I am a huge fan of that. As a you have
robbing
to
bank and burning cop cars.
Yes. So as a person, I'm trying not to gush too much or to seem creepy, because this is the first time we've ever talked to each other. But as a non-binary person who is also very has a lot of PTSD in their past, and then
hell yeah, bro.
And also is very anti-capitalist and very leftist.
You're basically me.
Yeah, your music has hit me in every single place, and it's fantastic. And so I'm interested in knowing like what caused that shift from introspection to throwing all that anger out into the world.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because I was all about just singing about my fucking problems initially. And I did that on fucking 1, 2, 3, shit, I don't fucking remember anymore.
Yeah.
4 releases, yeah, up until Summer on Saturn, which was also Summer on Saturn and C. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. But yeah, and I actually am myself surprised of that shift, because I was the first to say initially that I would never make political songs, and that I would never, that what I was interested in was making songs about psychology and people's feelings and my introspections and really intense shit like depression and all that.
Right.
And that's all I wanted to talk about initially, because basically my songs were kind of like my diary, I was just like that's how my songs started. I was just writing in my diary, and as I was making sounds, I was just taking bits of my diary and putting them on songs. And so yeah, it's always been very personal. And I don't know, one day, I don't know how that happened. I was I have still like so many songs waiting to be released that I still talk about sad, miserable shit. But one day I was sitting on my computer and I started making this, this retro synth bit in Rob the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been, it's been such a complicated time where we've just gone so much more frustrated and angrier, as you've said it, leftist people who want equality and all that. We just keep seeing on the news that racism keeps gaining, votes, and that LGBT people are being less and less fucking respected and listened to, that women are losing rights to abortion and shit like that, and all of that in a climate where massive companies and shareholders still make more and more money during COVID, while people are barely managing to finish their month and still have food on the table. So it's been a time where I've grown angry, and it's just like we were just talking with my friends about like fucking like the fucking banks still, like, I don't know. I'm terrible at explaining things because my brain is
It's
in a bit
okay.
of a mess.
I'm
But
totally getting it.
yeah, like banks keep printing money while there is inflation happening. So basically, they can refill the pockets of the shareholders and people who like buy massive shit into the estate industry, while we can't fucking pay to fill the tank of our car, and this is feeding inflation. So I was like, fucking banks, man, fucking, they're like, they have absolutely no respect for humanity and all that. That's just fucking, and I was just, joking about like putting fucking hoods on our faces and go fucking rob banks. And and that stuck with me, and I was like, and I had that retro synth running while I was composing. I was like, fucking rob a bank with me, like,
Yeah.
this is basically all we have. And in the video, that's what I wanted to illustrate, because in my video we are a bunch of people who have nothing left to lose, basically.
Yeah.
So we just find ourselves uh, almost like left for dead by society. We have nothing left. Our clothes are torn, our alcohol is homemade, our our guns are rusty, but we're still alive and we're still angry. So we're gonna take whatever the fuck we have and our rusty guns and our shitty liquor, and we're gonna fucking rob banks because we have nothing to lose. And that's basically the idea. And I got angrier and angrier from there. We had fucking bastards and how dare you was actually written the day following the elections in France. I don't know if you heard that there's been elections in France for the president. I was in April, and yeah, I actually wrote that really, really quick because I released the fucking bastards on the 29th of April.
Yeah.
And the election was, I don't remember, I think 20 days before.
Mm-hmm.
And the result came in that people had elected yet again the same guy that they've been complaining about for 5 years, and saying that the rents have gone up, the fuel have gone up, the food has gone up, and everything is shit, and he's threatening to take minimum wages down, and to remove benefits from people who can't work and shit like that. But they keep voting for him, and he doesn't give a shit about young people. He doesn't give a shit about LGBT. He has people who have been accused of rape in his government, and he doesn't care about the economy and the world, the ecology, sorry, and the environment. But they vote for him. So I was like really fucking angry on the day of the results of the election. So I went to my studio and I'm fucking bastards and then I started writing this, and I was like, I wanted a really fast song, like a slap in the face. And
it's the most aggressive music you've written, definitely.
It is. And How Dare You has been obviously a tribute to Greta Thunberg, going to the rich of the world and the boomers, basically. How dare you? How dare you rape the world? How dare you take away everything, and not think that the generation after you deserve a little bit? Like you're just in it for the money. And yeah, that was a direct reference to Greta. So yeah, angry.
Yeah. Well, and like I said before, it feels like all of that anger that you had been throwing on yourself with your other lyrics, with your more introspective lyrics, all you then pointed it outside, and the world does not stand a chance now if you're gonna do that, because like the thing that I was saying before that I find very intriguing in a lot of dark music, especially gothic and industrial music, you see a lot of metaphor. You see a lot of talking about, like darkness and light. You see a lot of like fire. You see a lot, and there's
I'm not into metaphors.
No, there's very little metaphor in your music.
No,
it is all just direct and in your face.
Yeah. This is the kind of lyrics I like. I mean, I was never into lyrics that are all about those big words that mean nothing.
Yeah.
Basically, like I'm all about small words that say a lot.
Yeah.
I'm all about the thing is that's the same for me in music as well as in literature. I really like people who have a style that is very rough and down to earth, that use everyday words but say things that are really true and really harsh. It's been something that's always been predominant in my style. That's how I like music. Basically Nine Inch Nails, writing things that are pretty like his lyrics are not at all metaphorical. It's all about fucking in your face, like having sex in the car or cutting myself up, or it's not fucking metaphors. It's all really real. And I felt that, and in literature as well. I really like authors that write that have a really, really direct style, and this is what I wanted to emulate. I mean, I was always after a style that was really like a punch in the face.
Yeah.
Like as the image of grab your face being basically.
Yeah.
Like grabbing your face and not letting go, and not, it's not fucking. I'm not gonna make wax lyrical lyrics. I just wanted to grab your face.
Yeah, that is directness right there.
Yeah. It's all about that, and I feel it's actually more impactful to hear small everyday words say really tough, intense shit, rather than hear like grand, very extraordinary words, and hearing sentences and forms of phrases that we've heard many times before. Like basically, I hate cliches. When I hear songs that you hear the beginning of the sentence and the end, I hate that. I hate that so much. It makes me cringe. Like I hate cliches in texts, in lyrics, and in novels and all that. I was always about that, surprising the reader and the listener. So,
and it's interesting. No, I can't promise that, unfortunately.
I understand. So I like a bit of a cringe joke sometimes, though.
So it's interesting, though, because in discussing your lyrics with you, I'm realizing that there is so much connection then between your lyrics and your music, because your music's the same way. You want to. You mentioned that you don't want to have a bunch of different things on stage, a bunch of different hardware to deal with, a bunch of different buttons press. You want it all in one place,
the simplest possible.
Yeah, and your lyrics are the same way. Just saying as much as you can
in
with as
face.
Little as possible.
Yeah, it's like it's gotta be in your face. It's gotta be fast. It's gotta be direct. I've got no patience, and I've got no brain power to handle frills and a lot of things, because then my brain gets lost and I just don't know where I am or what I'm talking about anymore. So I have to really keep it simple. And this is the way I like it as well. I was never, for example, music wise, I was never into things like I don't know what could I say as an example, like opera, or opera metal or shit like that, very
Yeah.
like fucking grand stuff with lots of orchestral shit, and like hundreds of channels of instruments, and I'm like, oh hell no, this is like giving me a headache already. I just want my songs mostly are like 10 channels,
Yeah.
and it's like really really simple, and I just want a beat, a bass, a melody, maybe a second melody, maybe a third melody, let's go crazy, and then my voice, done, and then backing vocals, that's
Yeah.
it. I'm just, like when people tell me, oh, on this song, like I have 200 channels, I'm like, holy fucking shit, how
What are
do
you
you
doing
do
with
this?
that? Yeah.
No, but like most people do that, and I'm like, oh my god, that must be a bit stupid. I can't do that at
Well,
all. Like I can't handle 200 channels.
I
My brain would blow up.
I don't think it's stupidity at all though, because you look at fucking bastards is only 5 lines, but you
Yeah.
do so much with those 5 lines, and you're doing
Yeah.
so much with those 10 tracks. So the question is, I've got nothing against people that make, if you need 200 tracks to make your music, okay, that's you. I guess it works
No,
for
no,
you.
no.
But
I think that when I know people who make amazing music that do
yeah,
that. I mean, because that they're really good at it and all that. But when I think of mixing that, I mean, I have nightmares. The thing is, when you have like very very few channels, it's much more easier to mix. Like as I hate mixing, I try to keep myself try to make the work simpler. But yeah, if you have like 6 or 7 channels, you just pump that shit all up and then it's mixed. Done.
done.
Yeah, I hate mixing.
Well, but I think I think that what you're doing is you're working with it, like you know what you like and what you don't like. You know what you're good at and what you still need to work on, and you're
Yeah.
constantly working within your limits and pushing them just a little bit so that you
Yeah.
improve. And that's the way that an artist should work.
Yeah, but like as I said, I have no patience, and fucking mixing. Like I had to ask Morris Black to mix fucking Bastards and How Dare You, because I was like, I'm not doing it.
No.
And the thing is, because maybe I would have done it if it was not like a hard techno release, because like maybe if it would have been more mellow, like Rob the Bank or Summer on Saturn, I would have done it. Like I've done the mix in Summer on Saturn. But I thought this needs to hit really hard, and that's Morris Black's specialty. So I'm just gonna ask him to pump that shit right up like he would do on his songs, and he did exactly what I wanted, and the songs are hitting really hard. So I probably wouldn't have been able to do that myself.
So that
So
is
yeah.
a fantastic segue. What's it been like? Because I've actually joked with Matt Finale of Daddy Bear that he should just make you an official member of Daddy Bear, because you've been on so many of the recent releases. What's it like working with guys like Matt Finale of Caustic and Daddy Bear and Morris Black?
I'm just interested in working with people who are nice, basically, and like anyone who contacts me with a nice attitude and a nice song, I'm always gonna say yes. Like you only know of Morris Black, Daddy Bear, and Covenant because they are the famous ones, but I've made so many collaborations. Like I just like just this year, I think I've made like 5 or 6 collaborations. There's one that is gonna be released in a few weeks, and there's one that was released a few weeks ago. Like it's just anyone who's nice, and I'm down for it. And people who, yeah, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. It's your interview. Keep talking.
No, it's just Morris Black and well, I should say Brad, Morris Black and Matt. They're just such kind people and such musical geniuses that like whenever they come asking me to do a song with them, I'm always so humble. I'm like, are you sure you really want me? Like I've got the imposter syndrome, like ringing all the alarms every time someone talks to me, like, oh, you can't do this, you're not capable of doing this song. And so every time I'm like, you sure? But for now with Matt, I'm not saying that anymore because we've done like 5 songs together or 6, I don't remember. But
Many.
yeah, it's always, yeah, and probably more to come, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always a pleasure. I really really love them, and I'm actually so happy because I'm gonna meet Matt this summer at Infest. As it's been announced, we both play at the same festival in England this summer, and
So you've
it's
never
fucking
met
cool.
until this point with the number of times you've.
No,
Wow.
no, I've never met him. I've never met Bran. I've Covenant. I had met them before because they're in the European scene, and I was hanging out in the European scene since 2012 about. But yeah, the guys, all the American guys, I've never met them. I just met Brian from Gothsicles 2 weeks ago, but that's it.
Wow.
And that's why I'm actually, it's really frustrating for me because most of my scene, what I'm calling the new goth scene, is American.
Yeah.
And like everything is happening over there, and it's so much cool shit. And we are not in it in Europe. Like it's barely reaching us. Like all the music I listen to is mostly American, and all the festivals that happen in Europe are still running the same bands as they were running 15 years ago. Like it's all agrotech and like EBM and future pop from 2005, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, I did love those bands when I saw them the first time and the second time and the third time, but it's been great to have a bit of a renewal of the band lists, you know.
So obviously
And
the solution is for you to move to America.
of course, I'm just moving to your house next week.
Okay. I hope
No,
I hope you like dogs. There's a dog downstairs
I
next to
fucking
the.
love dogs.
All right, you will love Cha Cha. Then we'll just let you crash on the couch.
Yeah, perfect. Can she sleep with me? I
He
love the dog to sleep with me.
he would love that because otherwise he has to sleep in the crate when we're upstairs. So yeah, he would love.
You sleep with me then.
All right, there we go.
No, I fucking love animals, man. I mean, I'm just I have like 7 cats and 1 dog at my family house. It's like a big fucking shelter. But yeah, no, going back to America, I mean, I'd love to actually go out in an American goth club and of course play there and all that. We'll see how that. We'll see what happens, but it's obviously more complicated for bands from overseas to come over to play American places, especially. Like, I'm not like a massive band. I'm not like Covenant yet or shit like that. So I understand that it's kind of a bit more risky for clubs to book me. But of course, I'd be fucking delighted, man. But I'd be sorry, I keep saying man, but it's just a tick I have. Sorry.
The fact that you recognize that is all that matters to me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not like
yeah.
I just keep saying man, like my girlfriends, I call them man all the time, and I'm like, oh my god, you sound like a douche. It's not. I'm not doing it on purpose.
The only thing that matters to me is that people notice and they try.
But I know I sound ridiculous. I sound like a guy on a fucking spring break. Oh man, a fucking bro. Dude, shut up. It's unbearable for me, so I can imagine for you it's even worse.
Well, and so that actually,
I have.
That's something that we were talking about before the interview, that as a non-binary artist yourself, it's not a problem that you run into a lot in the scene that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the goth scene and the alternative scene we're in general, and the renewal of a scene as well, with the new generation Z mostly, which is very open-minded on that. Yeah, it's mostly filled with people who are open-minded, who are very aware of anything LGBT rights, trans rights, feminist rights, and things like that. And so yeah, so far in that scene, I haven't had really to fight for those issues, as far as I remember. Yeah, no, it's been only people asking me my pronouns, being respectful of me being non-binary. No, it's been good. It's actually much better than in real life.
Yes.
Like I live in a rural area in France half of the time, and it's just, oh my god. It's like,
No,
the bare concept of not being a woman or a man is like, what are you then? Are you a fucking helicopter? And you're like, okay,
I
never
work
mind.
I work in a rural area in
Yeah, you know what I mean. Then.
yeah, and so it took me 2 years of working at that job before I was even comfortable telling my coworkers that I was dating a man. Like,
Oh my god, really?
yeah, like it was woo.
Yeah,
So
that's
I get it.
tiring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's great though that then when you find a scene that you
Oh
can just be
yeah.
yourself in.
Yeah, it's been really good. But then again, I'm like so. The thing is, I'm so unapologetic and so myself, and not questioning it, and not worrying about that at all. That, like, it's never something I bring up, as in, I don't know how to explain. Like, I feel extremely confident being myself, being non-binary, being a non-man, and being a punk about it, and being a bit like, fuck you in your face if you don't accept it. So yeah, so it's been kind of like easy in a way, because people just tend to shut up about it to me.
Yeah.
Like, that, I don't know if they're scared of me or what, but then they just leave me alone with it. Even in real life, like where I come from, where it's really rural and all that. When like people ask me, oh, but like, so you like girls as well? And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. Have you seen girls? Like, yeah, obviously I like girls. I like boys. I like everything. Yeah, no one is safe from me. And, I keep fucking making jokes like that. And at first, like, they're uncomfortable and all that. And they just tend to accept it because I'm like so blunt about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. Like every time they call me a girl, I'm like, not a girl. And like, oh, okay. So it's all very confusing for people, but if you just shove it enough in their face in a confident way with a big smile, they're like, okay, I guess.
So what you're saying is you grab their faces.
Yeah, pretty much. No, yeah, well, that's kind of how I am at this moment in my life, and it's probably never been better, to be honest.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, we have been just chatting away. This is
kind of, yeah. I don't know if there has been any actual question answers in a very useful interview manner, but
well,
you probably got some info out of me.
I never claimed to be good at interviewing, so
I never claimed to be good at being interviewed. I don't fucking know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just drinking and smoking here, talking to a mate. What's the problem?
There we go. It's been pretty awesome, and but we're nearing the end now, and I do have to ask, just because of the poster behind you, do you have a favorite Pokemon? Can you choose amongst your children?
Of course I have a favorite Pokemon. I've been playing Pokemon since I'm 8.
Okay.
And I am a bit older than that now, so yes, I have a few actually.
You're what, 12 now?
Yeah, I'm 12 and a half. Please.
All right, there we go.
A few of them are on this poster, but the thing is, some of them I don't know the name in English because, as you may know, I am French.
Yep.
And I have played, I'd say 80% of the Pokemon games I've played them in French, for some silly reason.
And the Pokemon names are different in French?
Yeah, of course they are.
Oh.
They're different in all languages. They're different in Spanish, and German, and Chinese, and Japanese. In English.
Okay. Well, I'm perfectly okay with hearing the French names, because as someone that's only played a couple Pokemon games, I probably wouldn't know their English names either.
I know this one's one of my favorite ever, and this one's the same name in English and French. So that's Absol.
Okay.
He's probably like the goth Pokemon in a way. He's like showing up when catastrophes are about to happen, and so whenever there's gonna be like a fucking earthquake or tsunami or shit like that, Absol shows up, and people are like, oh shit, there's the goth Pokemon, we better hide away. So he's pretty cool. There's this one I like as well. So this one I'm not sure the name in English, but it's like a fire dark dog thing. The name in English is in French is Demolus, but I'm not sure how to say it in English. But he's neat. And then the other one's not there. Well, I have loads of favorites, but I really like Entei, which is like a legendary from Generation 2. And I really like shitty Pokemons. Like, I really like Pokemon that are underdogs that nobody picks and that are a bit useless, like Rattata, like Magikarp. Oh shit, how it's called in English? The tiny bug one from the first generation that's green and all.
Is that the one that becomes Metapod?
Yeah, I really like Metapod as well. I really love Metapod. I think he's such a silly Pokemon. I love it. And and I like Paras as well, which is also pretty useless and silly. I like useless Pokemon. Basically, underdogs, tiny Pokemon that I want to scoop in my hands and put it like this and protect them. I like to do that to things and people.
I feel like the next musical project is you need to get together with some folks who also like Pokemon and come up with just like, and you all pretend to be one of the shitty Pokemon. And
that's basically what Gothsicles is doing with animals, isn't it?
Exactly. So there we go. And I'm sure you can get Brian on this train.
Probably. I think he'd probably be well into it. But yeah, Pokemon, man. Maybe I'll do a Pokemon song one day. Who knows? If I get drunk enough. You. Thanks.
Well, in that
at
case,
least one person.
When you come over to my house to sleep with my dog, you can.
That sounds weird.
Okay, fair enough. When you come over to my house, though, I'll provide the booze, and I've got studio space, and there we go. Pokemon song, it's happening.
Jesus. You better brush up on your Pokemon knowledge before that, then.
That's what I have my boyfriend for.
Yeah, well, I'm counting on him.
Okay.
Make you know all the names of all the 900 Pokemon. You've got a big job ahead of you, I'm telling you.
You know what? It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
Oh, it is. Pokemon's always worth it. I've been talking way more about Pokemon than music in this interview.
No.
But I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we've only had about 3 minutes of Pokemon, so we're good.
Cool. It's still usable content.
Yep. Oh, you can bet this is getting clipped for advertising the interview. You bet. It's happening.
Whatever you need. I'll got you.
Grab Your Face, thank you very much for being in the studio. One last question. If I wasn't already familiar with your music, where can I find your stuff?
What? Online?
Yeah.
On the internet.
Okay.
I don't know, depends where you want things. If you want to stream, it's on Spotify and Deezer. If you want to buy, it's on Bandcamp. Okay. I've got 2 Bandcamps. I've got the Bandcamp that I used to have before I got signed on NGP, which is just grabyourface.bandcamp.com. And the Bandcamp since NGP is grabyourfaceng.bandcamp.com. Otherwise, what else is there? There's my YouTube channel with all my official videos. Just look for Grab Your Face on YouTube. You're probably gonna find a video of Rob the Bank or someone Saturn or whatever else. What else is there? I'm on Twitter. I'm on Snapchat. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see my silly life, because I'm posting funny stories every day of what I'm doing. And if you want merch, I have merch, but I'm only selling it at gigs. So if you really want something, I can still send it to you, but just PM me either on Facebook or Instagram, and we can arrange something. I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, for those of you that are listening to the broadcast on Thursday night, the after party is up next. I'm going to play a Grab Your Face song to start off.
Then
I'm going to, and then we'll kind of beat match and mix out of that, just see what happens. And
Yes.
and if you are watching this on YouTube, then you know what to do next. Grab Your Face has a YouTube channel. Go check out some videos.
Yes, absolutely. You should.
All right.
Or I'll do bad things to you.
Whoa. This has definitely
Told you.
been. This has been the
No
most.
one's safe.
This has been the most threatening interview I've ever done. It's wonderful.
Good. That's the French way. Absolutely not.
Thank you very much for joining me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the interview. It was really fun.
See you all later.
Okay. Should I go?
1 second.